I call to order the Warren Valley Basin Watermaster regular board meeting, Tuesday, June 7th, 2022 at 4:30 p.m. And I'm going to direct the meeting to the flag.
Please stand. Please follow me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Claudia may have roll call notes too, has.
Yes, President Hunt,
Here.
Vice President McComb,
Here.
Director Statham,
Here.
Director Mays,
Yes,
and
I'm
all of
here.
the records show that Director Studa is absent and our non-voting members from the Joshua Tree Retreat Center are present.
I want approval of the agenda. I need a motion and second to vote.
I move. Second.
Director Statham,
Yes.
Vice President McComb,
Yes.
President Hunt,
Yes.
Director Mays.
Yes.
Public comment. This is an opportunity for members of the public to address the board on matters within the board's jurisdiction, which are not listed on the agenda. Please limit comments to 3 minutes or less. State law prohibits the board of directors from discussing or taking actions on items not included on the agenda. Do we have any public comment?
And via email, we do have a couple online. Is there anybody that is online with us this afternoon that has a comment at this time? They can unmute themselves and speak at this time.
All right. Item 3, consent calendar. Items on the consent calendar are acted upon on one motion, unless the board member wishes an item to be acted upon separately, in which case it will be removed from the consent calendar. We have 3A, the man list 06, 02, 2022. We have 3B, 202, 2022, 0228 special, Watermaster, meeting minutes. So I will need we have one more. We have the 2022-02, 28 special Watermaster meeting job.
I'll move the consent calendar.
Second.
Oh,
Director Statham,
Yes.
Director Mays,
Yes.
Vice President McComb,
yes.
and President Hunt.
Item 4, department items. 4A, resolution number 2211, 2022-2023 fiscal year Watermaster budget presented by Tanya. So I will let you do that.
Thank you, Board President and members of the board. Today in front of you is the proposed Watermaster budget for fiscal year 2022 to 2023, which includes projected revenues of $40,000, which is primarily due from High Desert Water District and Hawks Landing, formerly known as Blue Sky Country Club, for pumping of water within the Warren Basin. And the expenditures of $74,000, which includes $22,000 for labor and benefits, $30,000 for engineering services, which is right now is just an estimated cost for locating the minimal producers as discussed in the April 18th workshop, and then $17,000 for legal fees, and then $5,000 combined for audit fees, structure fees, and miscellaneous, leaving the fiscal year with a deficit of $34,000. But however, the forecast at the end of this fiscal year, we're estimating the cash balance of $112,000, which is leaving a projected surplus at the end of fiscal year 22-23 of $77,000. And if you were to look at the previous budget for 21-22, you can see that it's basically like a $45,000 increase. And that is due to the increase of engineering and legal fees due to the minimal producers of getting all that sorted out. This concludes my report on the proposed budget for the fiscal year 2022-23, and I'd be happy to answer any questions following public comments. Thank you.
No email and public comment. Anybody online can unmute and speak at this time, should they have any public comments? Seeing none.
Move back forward for director's comments. Vice President McCollum.
Probably just one question, the obvious one here is the negative 34,000, is that expected to continue?
That's just taking in consideration our revenue and our expenses that we plan to spend next year, which we have a significant amount of cash going forward. And every year, we not necessarily budget in engineering costs, and sometimes the costs are shown with the high different water districts, so we will never allow the account to go negative.
I recall the last meeting, talk about minimal.
Correct, we budgeted for that. We don't have a solid dollar amount, so we kind of put $30,000 in for that, and if it's higher or lower, we'll come back to the board. We do have those estimates.
If I could add to that, so the intent is to address, as was discussed, all these various minimal producers that were not addressed under the adjudication, those that were in existence, and those that may have come on board with 12 since that time. Goal would be to have that done within the budget year, my anticipation. Going forward to, let's say, clean everything up and get everything in place, it may take a bit longer than that. But in short, it is not intended that this would continue. It's generally intended as a one-time cost, but we're going to have to see what things are towards the end of the next fiscal year and just see how things are moving along. Because we haven't even determined what all those areas are. A lot of this also deals with modifying the policies and things from legal and things of that nature.
So, thank you, Tom. You said that this would never be allowed to go into a negative, but if expenditures outpace revenues, do we safeguard this that?
Well, there's some costs that are shared by the water district, like when we have USGS, if they do work with inside of the Warren Basin, it's split between high different water districts, Watermaster, and the wastewater. So that it's not all the cost is associated with the Warren, it's the cost amongst all of the three different groups.
All of the costs are not borne by water.
Correct.
Thank you.
No, because everybody here still looks for me, so. All right.
You can ask your question again, that's okay.
No, it's all right. I've heard the answers, so I'm satisfied with them. Thank you.
And Director State.
No, I have nothing to add. I'm happy with the looks of this budget going forward. It's pleasing to know that we have a little extra that has built up in the account over the previous years, and we're going to be able to put 30,000 of that to good use, hopefully this coming year, to get some issues that have been on the back burner sorted out.
I was going to ask, the review training, you guys have anything to say you'd like to add? Good. I don't know your name, so that's kind of a rude way to just refer to you as JT Retreat Center, but I apologize for that. Yeah. Well,
I would just add one other thing. Ron is identifying these various facilities. What may end up resulting, things go the way that are intended, we'll be bringing minimal producers on board, and that will be an income source. There's other things we're looking at that may offset that, such as if it's metered, they would pay for the entire acre foot. but there is a possibility that our revenue could increase long-term as a result of this. We won't know until we get through the whole process, but it may be that ultimately this is offset more. So but we'll have to see what comes out of the wash.
I believe if there's no other comments, then we can probably have a motion and a second.
I'll move the adoption of resolution 22-11. I'll second.
President Emmer?
Yes?
Director Dana?
Yes?
Director May?
Yes.
Vice President Nicole?
Yes.
Item 5, director's reports and comments for information purposes only on subjects not covered by the agenda. No action can be taken. Have any director's comments? Yes.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I was invited to have a look at a property that a friend of mine bought. He was interested in my opinion on remodeling it. And on the way up to his property, which is the far central south end of the district, we went by the neighbor's place, who looked like he was getting ready to build, and the first thing he put in was a well, a brand new well there. So would that be something I would get with Ron to see if you've got it on your list? Then let you and I get together afterwards, and I'll show you where the spot is. And if you already got them, great. If not, have them delivered. That's all.
Item 6, manager's report for information purposes only on subjects not covered by the agenda, and no action can be taken. So, Don, you have anything else you'd like to add?
Any other comments at this time?
Woody?
Yes, just for transparency purposes, I failed to mention that there was a correction in the resolution number on the approval of the last item. So it should be corrected to state that it's resolution 22-01 rather than 22-11.
And Ron, you have anything to add?
I would just include at this time that, going back to the April workshop, legal's still working on, some of the amendments for the direction from the Watermaster on the rules and policy. And when we, get further along with that, we'll be bringing that back at a special meeting. We weren't ready quite yet. And I have been looking at some labor opportunities. I looked at Civic Spark, it's AmeriCorps. Looked at getting a fellowship person from there, and they do require a partnership donation, which is about $29,000. So kind of where that number, we guess pretty close, but then that's kind of the number that we saw when we were looking at that. But I'm going to look towards I think it's College of the Desert or the University of San Bernardino. They may have some kind of internships that we could explore. And then based on other management
opportunities here, maybe we can do something in-house, so still looking at all that. That's all I have.
Paul, do you have anything?
I have a couple things. Went to the Pelican Club dinner last night. Met some people I hadn't seen in a while, engaged in a lot of conversation. Scott did not grab my arm and pulled me over because he that's not a good conversation. It's a really good event. So it's the first one they haven't canceled since I've been here, so it's my first opportunity. And I did want to remind the board that Tony and I will be going to the Fish and Game Commission, 15th and 16th. They did move the schedule up to the 15th, so we may only need to be there the 15th. It just depends on how things go. My guess is there's going to be a lot of people speaking at that. And then I believe the schedule changed for the final budget approval 27th, the 28th, is that? Anyway, I'll be out that week for 2 reasons. I have a wedding to go to, and my wife wants to celebrate my birthday that week, so, the plan though is to have everything pretty much, approved before that time, just have it as a formality. But if there is anything of significance, I'll try to make it on Zoom. And I'll also be out on June 16th, so the next, board meeting, I'll be at, session.
So are you going to the live event for Fish and Wildlife? Is that?
Yes. There's a meeting in LA. Yes. I think we've got some good points that, Tony, I still need to get together and talk about that a bit, but, well, you get like a minute to speak, and you can cough twice and your time's up, so.
Thank you, Bob.
I'm there, I'm gonna back him up.
Oh.
In case he gets robbed or something.
Well, that's when you should have back up, you guys are doing all talking at the time.
Whatever it takes.
Bob didn't know that.
No.
Everything open? Yeah. All right. Item 7, does the board have any upcoming agenda items they'd like to discuss? Guys out there, JP, Community Center?
Actually, not pressing at all, but a future agenda item to figure out, how we can best cooperate with the retreat center. I think there's some overlapping jurisdiction, there's some issues that we ought to, look at and see how we can, cooperate to just make things a little better if possible. So future agenda item request to examine that, relationship with the idea of, some kind of improvement.
And some name tags for them. So I will forget your name, by the way, next time you come in, so name tags, that'll be agenda item.
I'll have it on your agenda. How about that?
That's like really fun. Okay, item 8, adjournment, unless anybody has anything else, we will adjourn.